Hello guys and welcome back to a new tutorial. In this tutorial we will learn something about functions. So this function that we have been using is the main function, and that's the one you always need, but you can also create your own functions. So the syntax for functions is your data type. We're going to be using an int data type, then the name. So we're going to be calculating the maximum value of two numbers. This is why we call the function max. Then we need these, and just like the main function, we need those curly braces here. So we will put two parameters in here. We will say int x and int y. Those are the two numbers that we want to compare. And we will say if x is smaller than y, then we're going to return y. Since y is bigger than x, y is the maximum value. This is why we return y. Then we will say if x is bigger than y, then we will return x, since now x is the maximum value. We also need a third return statement, and we will just say return 0, but this return statement will never happen, since one of those return statements will happen before that. And after, for example, this return statement happens, the function will end. Or if this return statement happens, the function will end as well. In our main function, we now have to call this function that we have just created. And in order to do that, we will save whatever was returned by this function in a variable. This variable will be called result. And result will be equal to max. And now we need two values in here. We will just pick 5 and 10. Those two numbers will be compared in this function. And now we will print result. And if we run this, we will see that 10 is the result, since the maximum value of 5 and 2 is 10. If we switch those around, 10 will still be the maximum value, but this time this parameter here is 10. So let's create a second function. This time we will be using the void data type. Because of this void data type, there is no return statement that's allowed in this function. This is useful when, for example, we want to print something. So I'm just going to name this function print hello. We will not have any parameters here since we don't need them. And in this function, the only thing we're going to do is printing hello. We have defined our print hello function. And in order to call this function, we're going to say print hello like this. This is the only thing that we need to do. If we run this, it will print hello. And this is pretty useful since we don't have to type all of this all over again when we just want to print one thing. We could copy this just like this, and it will print hello 6 times. This also works for other data types like a char or like a string or a double. And be aware you have to define and declare this function up here if you want to use it in the main function. There is also another way. We can define this function down here, but you'll have to declare it up here. So we have to tell this main function that our print hello function will be somewhere. So the main function will look for this print hello function down here instead of up there. My preference is to always define my function when I declared it like this.